The story begins hundreds of years ago, where a peerless warrior named the Emperor Wu, also known as the Sky Axe Warrior, commanded such respect that all other martial artists bowed before him. One day, the Emperor Wu passed away, and with his death, chaos erupted as warriors fought fiercely to claim his powerful martial arts secrets. These secrets were said to be hidden within a cave, which could only be unlocked with a small cauldron-shaped key. To this day, warriors continue to search for it. One day, a group of warriors from the Tai Sect, allied with the Qingshan Sect, embarked on a mission. Among them was Sun Nao, a disciple of the Tai Sect, who successfully discovered the key. However, betrayal struck when the Qingshan Sect, led by Gu Shiyu, turned against their allies, seeking to eliminate the Tai Sect and claim the key for themselves. In a desperate act, the leader of the Tai Sect entrusted the key to Sun Nao, instructing him to spread the news that the key to the Emperor Wu's legacy had been found. The leader fought valiantly, but ultimately perished, buying Sun Nao time to escape. Despite being wounded by an arrow from Gu Shiyu, Sun Nao fled with determination. Meanwhile, warriors from the Yuan sect were traveling through the forest in search of medicinal herbs. Among them were Qingshan, the sect's first disciple, and Qing, the daughter of the sect leader. As they ventured deeper, they encountered the wounded Sun Nao, who was being pursued by Qingshan forces. Surrounded, they were ordered to surrender the key. At that moment, Qingshan tried to avoid conflict, explaining their peaceful intentions. However, Gu Shiyu, captivated by Qing's beauty, had sinister desires. Sensing danger, Qingshan instructed his junior disciple to escort Qing to safety. During a fierce battle, Sun Nao and Qingshan's junior disciple were slain, leaving Qingshan outnumbered. Despite this, he managed to flee, seeking out Qing, who had obtained the key. Meanwhile, Gu Shiyu and his forces, unable to catch Qingshan, plotted to accuse him of stealing the key. They planned to report this to Gu Yong, Gu Shiyu's father. That night, the Qingshan sect marched toward the stronghold of the Yuan sect. Zhu Gao, the leader of the Yuan sect, greeted them at the entrance. Not long after, Qingshan, Qing, and a surviving disciple arrived to reveal the truth about recent events. Sensing that his secrets might be exposed, Gu Shiyu quickly changed the subject by proposing marriage to Qing. Zhu Gao, respecting his daughter's independence, left the decision to her. Without hesitation, Qing firmly refused the proposal, her voice steady and resolute. The atmosphere grew even more tense when Gu Yong demanded the return of the Emperor Wu's key. He threatened to destroy the Yuan sect if they refused to hand it over. Despite the danger, Qingshan stood his ground, revealing that the key had been entrusted to him by Sun Nao, a man who had been betrayed and killed by the Qingshan sect. Gu Yong dismissed Qingshan's explanation, repeating his threat with cold determination. To protect his sect from further harm, Qingshan made a bold decision. He announced that he would leave the Yuan sect, declaring that if the Qingshan sect wanted the key, they would have to face him alone. As he turned to leave, Gu Shiyu suddenly fired an arrow toward Qingshan. In a moment of incredible bravery, Qing leaped in front of Qingshan, sacrificing herself to save him. Overwhelmed with grief and rage, Qingshan's fury erupted. His anger sparked a fierce and brutal battle between the two sects, turning the night into chaos and bloodshed. Amidst the chaos of battle, the ancestral leader of the Qingshan sect, Taizu, suddenly appeared. Taizu was an ancient martial artist who had achieved the highest level of mastery, a level unmatched by any other warrior of his time. Yet, despite knowing he stood no chance, Qingshan dared to confront Taizu. As expected, Taizu effortlessly defeated Qingshan. Just as Taizu was about to deliver another devastating blow, Zhu Gao intervened, blocking the attack. Zhu Gao then ordered Qingshan and the remaining members of their sect to flee, declaring that he alone would face Taizu. Though Zhu Gao was fully aware that he was no match for Taizu, he stood his ground. After his disciples had escaped, Zhu Gao unleashed his full power in a desperate attempt to defeat Tai Zhu. However, Tai Zhu remained calm and unfazed, ultimately striking down Zhu Gao with ease. During the fight, Qingshan and his martial brother, who had managed to escape, could only watch from a distance as their sect was obliterated in a massive explosion. Heartbroken but determined, they continued their journey on horseback. However, exhaustion soon overcame them, and they collapsed mid-journey. Before losing consciousness, Qingshan caught a glimpse of a figure approaching them. 3 days later, Qingshan awoke, only to be startled by the sight of Qing Er, who he thought had perished. But his joy was short-lived, as his martial brother, De soon arrived and explained that the girl was not Qing Er, but Li Jun, the daughter of a wealthy merchant who had been traveling on a trade expedition. Apparently, Li Jun and her group had found Qingshan and De unconscious and had taken them in. Later, Qingshan expressed his gratitude to Li Jun's uncle, Gui Tong, the leader of the merchant group. Gui Tong prepared a meal for them, but urged them to leave by morning, as he and his group wanted no part in Qingshan's troubles. Gui Tong revealed that Qingshan and De were now wanted by the major sects, with the Qinghu sect even offering a reward for their capture. Elsewhere, at the Qinghu sect's headquarters, a highly skilled martial artist named Pai Shan made a sudden appearance. It quickly became evident that Pai Shan's abilities rivaled those of Tai Zhu, as he effortlessly defeated dozens of soldiers without even touching them. Pai Shan introduced himself casually, declaring that Tai Zhu was not the only one in the world with such extraordinary power. Shortly after, Guyong arrived and informed Tai Zhu that none of the major sects recognized the name Pai Shan. Tai Zhu, too, had only just heard of Pai Shan and speculated that his strength might be on par with his own. Deciding not to waste time, Tai Zhu set off toward the location of the legendary treasure of the Emperor Wu. Back with the merchant group, Qingshan felt uneasy and decided to leave that very night, not wanting to endanger his rescuers. But as he prepared to depart, a group of bandits attacked, aiming to plunder Gui Tong's caravan. With no other choice, Qingshan stepped in, helping to defeat the bandits and protect the merchants. After the bandits were vanquished, Gui Tong thanked Qingshan for his assistance, and the merchant group no longer objected to his presence. They continued their journey together, eventually arriving at Pingyun City, where members of the major sects and other renowned martial artists had gathered. Li Jun arranged rooms for Qingshan and De to rest. Once they were settled, Gui Tong approached Li Jun and advised her to keep her distance from Qingshan, fearing that her association with him might put her in danger. The following day, Li Jun took Qingshan and De to a weapon shop owned by her martial brother, known as the King of Beastmen. He was a revered martial artist from the Divine Mountain, famous for possessing countless rare and powerful artifacts. The shop was a gathering place for many skilled warriors, including members of the 9 great sects. These sects were already aware of Qingshan, who was rumored to hold the key to the lair of the Emperor Wu. The Qinghu sect had even offered a massive reward for his capture. As Li Jun was about to introduce Qingshan to the King of Beastmen, a commotion erupted. A warrior entered the shop, carrying an axe he claimed was a priceless relic, and demanded payment. Upon inspection, the shopkeeper declared the axe a fake. The warrior, furious at the accusation, refused to leave without compensation. The King of Beastmen stepped in to resolve the dispute. It was then that the axe-wielding warrior recognized Qingshan as the fugitive wanted by the Qinghu sect. Sensing the tension, Li Jun asked the King of Beastmen to provide Qingshan with one of his finest weapons. However, the King of Beastmen refused. Instead, he loudly announced to everyone present that the man standing before them was none other than Qingshan. His declaration echoed through the shop, drawing the attention of all the martial artists gathered there. Despite the danger, Qingshan showed no fear. He boldly challenged anyone who dared to confront him. Surprisingly, the king of Beastmen stepped forward to protect Qingshan. After driving off the intruders, the king of Beastmen presented Qingshan with a sacred spear, a priceless artifact. He admired Qingshan's courage and resilience, especially after the destruction of his sect. Meanwhile, the axe-wielding warrior had fled to the Qin whose sect's headquarters. He reported Qingshan's whereabouts to Gu Shiyu, hoping to claim the substantial reward. It wasn't long before Gu Shiyu and other high-ranking members of the Qin whose sect arrived at the king of Beastmen's shop, launching an immediate attack. However, the king of Beastmen intercepted them, warning them not to cause trouble in his domain. One of the Qin whose sect's warriors apologized to the king of Beastmen, but Gu Shiyu was furious and refused to back down. His subordinates, however, urged him to retreat, knowing that even Gu Shiyu might not be a match for the king of Beastmen's formidable skills. Reluctantly, they left, but not before capturing Hu. Before departing, Gu Shiyu issued a chilling ultimatum. Qingshan must surrender the key to the Emperor Wu if he wanted Hu to live. Enraged, Qingshan vowed to rescue his martial brother and set off alone to infiltrate the Qin whose sect's headquarters. But the situation took a tragic turn. Before Qingshan could act, Hu was thrown from a great height and killed. Overwhelmed with fury, Qingshan launched into a desperate battle. Just as he was about to be overwhelmed, a bold and sharp-tongued woman named Dao Onma from the Hong sect, one of the 9 great sects, swooped in and whisked him away to safety. The Qin whose sect, furious at her interference, demanded she stay out of their affairs. Soon after, other legendary martial artists began to arrive, including Pai Shan, the divine monk, the guardian of Tai Tzu, and the blind old man. The greatest warriors from the major sects had gathered, all vying for the key to the Emperor Wu that Qingshan still possessed. Arguments broke out among the sects, with many accusing the Qin whose sect of greed. Eventually, they reached a tense agreement. They would journey together to the cave of the Emperor Wu and divide the treasures equally. After Tai Tzu and Pai Shan departed, the martial artists of the 9 great sects pressured Qingshan to hand over the key, promising to guarantee his safety from the Qin whose sect's threats. However, if he refused, Qingshan would have to face the combined might of the 9 great sects. With no other choice, Qingshan reluctantly threw the key to them. The next day, Qingshan was still reeling from the death of Hu. He warned Li Jun to stay away from him, believing that anyone close to him would meet a tragic end. But Li Jun defiantly declared that she was not afraid and vowed to stand by Qingshan no matter what. After she left, Qingshan buried Hu and swore to avenge his death by destroying the Qin whose sect. Qingshan then went to find Li Jun, but upon arriving, he was horrified to discover that her merchant group had been massacred. Among the carnage, he found Gue Tong, barely alive. Qingshan urgently asked about Li Jun's whereabouts. Gue Tong revealed that Li Jun had been captured by the Qin whose sect and taken to Pinyin City. Without hesitation, Qingshan rushed to the city. Upon arriving, Qingshan was immediately confronted by Gu Shiyu and his forces, who were holding Li Jun captive. A brief but intense battle ensued, during which Qingshan managed to fend off the Qin whose sect soldiers. Li Jun seized the opportunity to escape, and the two of them fled together. As night fell, the martial artists gathered at the entrance to the cave of the Emperor Wu, including the leaders of the 9 great sects. Soon after, Gu Shiyu falsely reported to his father, Gu Yong, that Qingshan had been killed. Later, Gu Yong instructed the 9 great sects to split into 2 groups, one to venture inside the cave and the other to guard the entrance. He warned that once the key was removed, the gate would seal forever. Shortly after, the gate to the Emperor Wu's cave finally opened, and the group ventured deeper inside. Along the way, they encountered a strange phenomenon, tiny particles of light swirling around them. Sensing danger, Tai Tzu halted the group, and just in time. The particles ignited, burning those who had rushed ahead. With Tai Tzu's guidance, they managed to navigate past the deadly particles and continued their journey. Meanwhile, Qingshan, who is still very much alive, arrived at the entrance of the Emperor Wu's cave. The guard stationed there were no match for his skill and could only watch helplessly as Qingshan used the key to enter the cave. Once inside, the gate immediately sealed shut behind him. Qingshan ventured deeper into the cave until he reached the others, who were gathered at the gateway to an illusory dimension. At that moment, the Qin whose sect was shocked to see him, having believed he was dead. One by one, the martial artists began to enter the illusory dimension, each hoping to claim the legendary treasure hidden within, a sacred manual containing the Heaven Axe technique, which would grant its wielder unmatched power in the martial world. However, chaos soon erupted when one of the sects killed a rival in the real world. In the ensuing turmoil, the group was thrust into another dimension simultaneously. There, Qingshan was seen running, determined to hunt down the Qin whose sect members and exact his revenge. In this strange realm, one of the Qin whose sect's warriors lay helpless, having been attacked by a wild beast. His brother arrived to rescue him, but the injured warrior urged him to leave and find Gu Shiyu instead. As soon as his brother left, Qingshan appeared and killed the weakened Qin whose sect member, taking his whistle. Moments later, a massive wolf with glowing blue eyes and a coat resembling sheep's wool appeared. But the beast suddenly retreated upon seeing the key in Qingshan's hand. Meanwhile, Gu Shiyu, trembling with fear, was suddenly attacked by a zombie-like creature. Fortunately, his subordinate arrived just in time to rescue him. The two of them quickly set off to find Gu Shiyu's father, Gu Yong, who was also running toward the sound of a whistle blown by Qingshan. At one moment, Gu Shiyu's subordinate, realizing the whistle was a decoy, stopped Gu Shiyu from following the sound. Sure enough, Qingshan appeared before them. Terrified, Gu Shiyu fled, with Qingshan hot on his heels. After a long chase, Gu Shiyu finally reunited with his father, Gu Yong. Just as Qingshan was about to strike down Gu Shiyu, the key to the Emperor Wu slipped from his grasp. This triggered a shift, transporting the three of them into the final dimension, a place where the ultimate martial art, the Heaven Axe technique, was hidden. Suddenly, a portal appeared, its entrance slowly closing. At that moment, Gu Yong was torn between saving himself or his son, pleaded with Qingshan to spare Gu Shiyu. But Qingshan, consumed by vengeance, delivered the fatal blow. After Gu Yong escaped the dimension, he was stunned to see the martial artists of the 9 great sects absorbing solar energy from the Emperor Wu. Without hesitation, Gu Yong joined them. Elsewhere in the cave, Tai Zu was approached by Pai Shan, who declared that he had no intention of fighting him. Instead, he revealed that someone else, a martial artist who had reached the highest level of mastery, would challenge him. Meanwhile, Qingshan, still trapped in another dimension, was visited by a divine master. To his astonishment, this master was none other than the Emperor Wu himself, who had orchestrated everything from the beginning. The Emperor Wu explained that Qingshan had passed all the trials flawlessly and was now worthy of inheriting his supreme martial arts. After mastering these techniques, Qingshan emerged through a dimensional portal to confront Tai Zu, now able to traverse dimensions at will without the need for a key. On the other hand, Tai Zu was shocked to learn that the person Pai Shan had spoken of was Qingshan. Before their battle began, Qingshan summoned his illusionary power, manifesting a skull symbol, while Tai Zu's illusion took the form of a peach tree. After a fierce and intense duel, Qingshan emerged victorious, striking down Tai Zu with his sword. At the same time, the martial artists who had been absorbing energy completed their ritual, rejoicing in their newfound power. Soon, a portal opened, allowing them to exit, but as they stepped through, Gu Yong and the others were stunned to find Tai Zu dead. Shortly after, Pai Shan appeared, revealing that he had borrowed the body of the Hu, Qingshan's deceased martial brother. It was then disclosed that Pai Shan was a godlike martial artist of unparalleled skill. He had been a mastermind behind everything, including ensuring Li Jun's safety, as she was his disciple. Pai Shan then departed, sparing Gu Yong and leaving Qingshan as the undisputed strongest martial artist in the world. With peace restored, Qingshan reunited with Li Jun and gave her a necklace, symbolizing their bond and the adventures that lay ahead. And with that, the story came to a close. Moral lesson from the story: if you ever find a magical key, don't tell anyone. Martial artists are terrible at sharing. And remember, if you're going to chase legendary treasures, bring snacks. Vengeance takes a lot of energy.